Sara Haley, pre- and postnatal exercise specialist, and this is my second pregnancy. I'm about 37 weeks, which means I could basically have a baby any day now. And in about 30 weeks, I discovered that I have a diastasis recti, or you may have heard it pronounced a diastasis recti. It's the same thing, but it's a condition that's commonly found in pregnant women and more oftenly discovered actually in your postnatal recovery. In my postnatal recovery, I hope to show you ways that you can correct it, but I thought it might be interesting and important for you to see what it looks like during pregnancy, how you can discover it, and most importantly, ways to make sure that you don't exacerbate it even more. Before I show you how to test for a diastasis, let's talk about what it is and why it occurs. So your abdominals are made up of your rectus abdominis, which is the outermost layer. It's what you probably know as your six-pack. Your transverse abdominis, or your TVA, which is the deepest muscles that we sometimes actually forget to use. And then our internal and our external obliques. So if a diastasis occurs, what's happening is the right and left half of the rectus, that outermost muscle, is going to separate. And the linea alba, which is the tissue that holds those muscles together, is going to thin. This happens because when you're pregnant, your uterus starts to push against your abdominal wall. And also, the hormones that you now have in your body are helping your connective tissue stretch and thin, which is important for pregnancy, but if it happens too much, this diastasis can occur. Just so you know, some separation during pregnancy is normal. However, if you do find that you have more than a 2 to 2.5 finger width gap, it is considered a diastasis recti. It's going to be much easier for you to test for in post, but if you do want to try and see if you have one during pregnancy, I'm going to show you how since I've already discovered mine. Remember that this is just a way to test. It's not a diagnosis by any means. So one of the ways to test for a diastasis or a diastasis is to lay down flat on your back. Just remember, when you are pregnant, the safest way to lie down to protect all of this area is to lie down on your side. So if I go down straight on my back, what you're going to see a little bit here is you're going to see my abdominals kind of go into a point, or some people like to refer to it as a football, right? So it's going to be a little bit, it's not going to be, tight, it'll be a little bit rounded here. So I'm going to lay down this way. You're going to see this is going to start to come up to a point and come on down. So that was actually the first way that I recognized that it was not looking like my last pregnancy. Okay. I also noticed it because obviously I had stopped doing crunches, but I still love doing plank. And in plank you can also see this start to go to a point, which is why you want to now avoid plank if you have discovered a diastasis recti. So if you were to come into your plank, right, and I'm talking full plank, if you're in a modified plank and you're really contracting and pulling that navel or that baby closer to your spine, you're going to be actually in a decently good place. But as soon as I take it to a full plank and I've got full pressure down here, I can see it start to go to that same point that we were just talking about before. So that's why if you do discover this diastasis, or if you just want to make sure that you're not going to get one, back off on your planks, especially once you get into your second trimester and beyond, and keep your body really nice and safe and sound. So now I'm going to show you how to test for it with your fingers. And it's going to be really hard to truly tell how big that gap is until after you've had your baby. And it actually was probably a little bit easier for me to tell a few weeks back when my baby wasn't so big. But you're going to want to come down to your back, so remember to come down safely. And take one hand behind your head as if you were going to do a crunch. Now you're not really going to do a crunch because I don't actually want you to try to flex your abs. I just want you basically to lift your head up off the floor. You're going to take your other hand and you want your fingers to be vertical, not horizontal. You want it to be vertical. And I'm going to start at my belly button here. And when I lift my head up, I'm going to actually press down just a little bit and see if I can feel for any gap there in the rectus. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to come up, I'm pressing down. It's really hard not to flex while you're doing that, and then come back down. And again, I'm feeling about 2 fingers. Again, I know this because I tested myself a little bit earlier on where it was easier to tell. It might be more now. Again, it's just difficult for me to tell because of how far along I am now. And then you can also test yourself about 3 inches below. So let's go 1, 2, 3. Here, I come up, Yep, I can definitely feel that there. That's almost 2 fingers. And then come down and then go 3 inches above. So it's hard for me to find my belly button at this point. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go about here and lift up. Again, that's not as much. For me, most of the separation is here, and that's what you'll see in pictures. It kind of goes like this, that separation. So again, coming up, sideline. When you do this, a good thing to do too is think about pulling that baby in closer to you. That's a really safe way to come all the way on up. So again, test yourself. Know that it's not going to be really exact until after you've had your baby, and then it also might be easier for somebody else to test you rather than you doing yourself. But look for it, and then just take some precautions. That's the best thing that you can do right now. So you know what not to do, or the modifications that you should do to help prevent or exacerbate your diastasis. Here's something that you can do to start to work. I can't guarantee necessarily that you're going to correct anything during pregnancy, but to start to use the muscles and think about the muscles that you want to be focusing on more. Your transverse, that TVA. So you can do this, it's nice to do it with your back against something, so seated against a couch, standing up against a wall, lying down in your bed, whatever works for you or you feel most comfortable, or do it in all 3 places. So what I'm going to do here is put my hands on my belly, and I have my sports bra on just for you so that you can see all of this. I'm going to take an inhale through my nose, exhale through my mouth, and as I do that, I'm using my hands here because I want to try to initiate everything from the inside, so using that TVA to pull everything closer together, okay? And what I like to think of when I'm pregnant, because I really don't have a belly button anymore, is hugging my baby closer to my spine. And inhaling again. Letting it relax, exhaling. Start to pull and build from the inside out. Okay? Good luck with that. It does take some work to really get it down, but it's probably the best thing that you can do until that baby is out, and then your work can really start to begin. Best of luck. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this information was helpful to you. Remember, you can always go to my website, sarahaley.com, and follow me on social media at SaraHaleyFit.